Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Dr. Nurul and everyone that is viewing. In this video, Arisha and I, Liana, will present about banana, which was the crop that we chose for this group assignment. So we start off the presentation with the botanical description of banana. Banana is a fruit of the genus Musa from the family Musaceae. Bananas are grown in the tropics, although most widely consumed in the other regions. A ripe banana is high in nutrients that is good for the human diet. It contains as much as 22% of carbohydrates and is high in dietary fiber, potassium, manganese, and vitamins B6 and also vitamin C. That is a general description of banana. Now, we move to the parts of a banana tree, which consists of 7 parts: rhizome, pseudostem, stem, leaf, sucker, inflorescence, and peduncle. Rhizome. Rhizome is the root system where the plant takes up water and nutrients from the soil. Another name for rhizome is corm or also bulb. Next is the pseudostem. It is the part of the plant that looks like a trunk that is known as the forestem, which is formed by the tightly packed overlapping leaf sheath. However, the true stem is visible in the center of the pseudostem. Moving on, the part of the plant that provides support to the leaves, flower, and fruits is called the stem. It develops from the apical meristem on the rhizome and grows inside the pseudostem until it emerges at the top of the plant. Furthermore, the leaf of the banana plant is a photosynthetic organ. Each leaf emerges from the center of the pseudostem as a rolled cylinder. Besides that, the lateral shoot that develops from the rhizome and emerges close to the parent plant is called the sucker. According to the diagram, at the left is the water sucker and the salt sucker is on the right side. Next is the inflorescence, or botanically known as the cerci. This part is a complex structure that includes the flowers, which will eventually develop into fruits. Last but not least, the stalk between the leaf crown and the first hand of fruits is called the peduncle. It also supports the inflorescence. This slide is about propagation method. There are 2 ways to propagate bananas, which are by offshoots or tissue culture. This is a diagram of how the propagation works, which I will explain in the next slide. Offshoots method. Bananas are propagated from the offshoots that develop at the base of the mother plant. The combs are cut off from the mother plant when they are 3 feet tall, taking some root system along with them. After removing the larger leaves, the combs goes into containers to develop a good root system of their own. Another way to propagate bananas is by tissue culture. These methods ensure they are true to type and free from pests and diseases. Tissue culture plants are usually healthy and uniform. Because of their uniformity, tissue culture plants can also be used to manipulate cycling to coincide with high-priced market windows. But tissue culture plants produce off-types, which cost more and need careful management during establishment. However, tissue culture technology has improved and off-types have been reduced to 3 to 5%.
Then I will continue about the male and female flower part of banana. First, the flower stalk comes from the heart of the plant, showing as an elongate, oval, and purple bud. It opens to show white, waxy flowers that are covered with green to purple hood-like braids that fall off as flower mature. As the flower stalk grows, it bends downward. The female flowers emerge first, and these are the ones that produce bananas. Male flowers form below the female flowers, but these don't develop fruit and usually fall off. Because they don't need pollination, the plant itself will produce fruit. After the plant is finished flowering and fruiting, it dies. For the clone or variety of banana, Cavendish banana M. acuminata Cavendish, also known as M. paradisiaca, is a common variety of banana. There are also a number of wild species, and these do have seeds and need to be pollinated to set fruit. Edible varieties such as Grossmichael M. acuminata Grossmichael growing near wild species. For the environmental condition of banana, it's divided into 3 categories. First, space has to be made in the dense rainforest to start a banana plantation, which it takes hot, humid weather to sustain the banana throughout its growth cycle. Second, pesticide runoff causing a negative effect on the biodiversity of the waterways. When it rains, some of it is washed away into streams and rivers, causing a negative effect on the biodiversity of the waterways. Third, erosion caused by the deforestation of the rainforest. Without the intense cover of trees and plants, soil is allowed to wash away with the rain, allowing sediment to be transported to the ocean and deposit in the coral reef that populate the shoreline. Okay, so I will continue about the land preparation of banana. First, we must plant the crop directly to the land without need to transfer. Then, we must ensure the land is free from Fusarium and Pseudomonas disease, which is the main disease that attack banana. If previously the land had been affected by the disease, properly control the pest and disease. Then, clean the land from weeds by using hose or plough with a depth of 30 to 40 cm. After that, make longitudinal beds according to the contour of the land. The distance between beds is adjusted according to the spacing, and the planting distance depends on the variety with a maximum of 1,000 clumps of plants per hectare. Okay, for the planting media of banana plants can grow optimally in soil conditions that are rich in nutrients and have heavy lime or soil content. Banana plants have gradients for fertilizer. Therefore, prepare a land that has high nutrients which can help growth of banana. Intensive irrigation is essential, but try not to have puddles in the land. The location of erosion affected land will not produce good bananas, and this plant cannot live optimally on soil that has 0.07% salt content. Banana also have their own life cycle, which is start from reproduction. Banana plants sprout from underground rootstock that grow horizontally from a mature banana tree. After 10 to 15 months, the tree sprout and form a stalk. Second is flower and fruit. Banana plants sprout female flower, sterile flowers, and finally male flowers, and they sprout from the female flowers without pollination. Third is plant care, which banana require rich, well-drained soil and frequent deep watering to support their large leaf. And last, for the harvesting, banana produce one crop of fruit and then die. In late summer, the flowers form fruit, which ripens in early springs. Okay, for the planting distance of banana is divided into three categories, which is spacing for dwarf plants, for full-size varieties, and for planting hole making. For dwarf plants, the dwarf bananas are smaller than standard bananas and can be planted closer together. Allow at least 8 feet between trees when planting. More stems will grow from the roots. For full-size varieties, most varieties need at least 12 feet or more of space. Smaller varieties can be planted 10 to 11 feet apart. For commercial growth, a spacing of 11 by 11 feet or 8 by 12 feet works well for equipment while maximizing production. For planting hole making, the recommended hole size is 50 x 50 x 50 cm for heavy soil types and 30 x 30 x 30 or 40 x 40 x 40 cm for loose soil types. Use a spacing of 3.3 x 3.3 meters. Okay, next I will explain how to planting banana. First, select a planting material which is a banana sucker such as rhizome or comb. The best suckers to use are 1.8 to 2.1 meter in height and have thin, sword-shaped leaf. If the sucker is still attached to a mother plant, cut it downward with a clean shovel. Dig a hole for each plant. Remove any plants or weeds, then dig a circular hole 30 cm wide and 30 cm deep. Fill the hole with soil. Leave a few inches of space at the top to encourage drainage. Place the plant upright in the new soils. And last, the leaf should be pointing upward and the soil should cover the roots and 1.5 to 2.5 cm of the base.
Alright, so to ensure the bananas achieve maximum nutrients for a better growth, it has to depend on the fertilizer intake. There are 3 types of fertilizer that can be used for bananas. The first fertilizer is NPK, where high amount of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium is contained in the fertilizer. High potassium fertilizer is recommended to use once a month in the growing season. However, mature banana plants should only use 1.5 pounds of the ratio 8-10-10 NPK fertilizer. Besides that, water-soluble fertilizer can also be used as the source of nutrients for bananas. Using a water-soluble formula means that a lighter application of fertilizer is mixed and dissolved in water whenever irrigation occurs. This management should be repeated when the soil dries out to about half an inch. And the third fertilizer is high in potassium or nitrogen. Fertilization is done with high nitrogen fertilizer once a month during the growing season at full dose according to the manufacturer's direction. Once the plant starts flowering, cut back on the high nitrogen formula and switch to a high potassium formula. This slide is about weed management. Weed management is the botanical component of pest control which attempts to stop weeds from competing nutrients with the bananas. There are a few methods that can be used that include herbicides, mechanical, and ground control. The two types of herbicide methods are contact herbicides and systemic herbicides. Contact herbicides only destroy the plant's aerial parts that come on contact with the product. The volume needed is high, around 200 to 400 liters per hectare. Example of contact herbicides is paraquat. However, this chemical is highly toxic and can cause fatal poisoning when ingested or inhaled. Earlier this year, the Minister of Agriculture announced that paraquat is banned on the 1st of January 2020. Another chemical herbicide is generally known as systemic herbicide. This chemical can destroy the entire plant with a lower volume than contact herbicide by only using a maximum of 100 liters per hectare. Systemic herbicides include glyphosate and glufosinate ammonium. Besides that, mechanical control is the usage of light equipment to prevent cell compaction. Unfortunately, this method is time-consuming and can damage the banana plant by transmitting pathogenic bacteria to weevil buildup. If you still insist to do this method, start weeding 1 meter away from the seed stem to avoid damaging the plant. Lastly, ground covers can also be used as a weeding control that will prevent the growth of weeds without negatively impacting banana yields. Moving on to pruning management. In order to obtain a good crop, it is recommended to prune leaves that are brown. They will also appear wilted and dry. Once the leaves are brown, there is no reviving them and it will be necessary to prune them in order to keep the banana tree looking lush. Therefore, carefully trim any brown dead leaves using garden shears. In addition, use a sharp blade or knife to prune the stem. Cut the stalk with a clean and sharp knife about half until 1 inch from the trunk. In growing any crops, facing disease and pest infestation is normal, but it is better if these problems were to be prevented earlier. The three most commonly diseased in banana plants are blood disease, Panama, and Sigatoka. Blood disease is caused by Xanthomonas celebensis, which is a type of bacteria. The symptoms that shows is the banana tissue becomes reddish as if it bleeds. To control this disease, unload and burn the sick banana plants. Secondly, a disease by a type of fungus. Panama disease or attack of Serum oxysporum. The leaves wither then break. The first attack is on the outer leaves following the inner leaves. The control method for this disease is similar to blood disease. And the third disease is Sigatoka, also caused by a fungus known as Cercospora musae. Symptoms of this disease is that chlorotic spots appear on the basal surface of the third or fourth open leaf. By using a fungicide that contains copper oxide, it can control the attack of fungus. The last slide for farm management is about pests that attack banana plants, scientifically known as Erionota-trax. A common name for this pest is leaf caterpillar or banana skipper, which is a type of butterfly belonging to the order of Lepidoptera. The banana leaves will roll like a chimney and tear up the leaves. To control this pest, the accurate insecticide is not yet available. However, malathion insecticide may help. Cosmopolite sordidus, real beetle or banana weevil. Usually the symptoms of this pest is when these weevils are full on the stem of the plant. To control this problem, sanitize the banana clump and immediately clean the clumps from the remnants of the stem. Using sanitary seeds is also advisable. Last but not least, nematodes, or scientifically known as Rhoetelenchus similis. The presence of nematodes will cause small spots and swollen roots. The control method for nematodes is by using sanitary seeds or multiplying soil humus content and use land with small clay content.
Okay, the next part I will explain is about harvesting of bananas. When the fruits are ready for harvesting, the plant is cut down. The plant typically produces fruits 15 to 18 months after planting. The plastic bags are inspected and then carefully removed so they can be reused. Okay, the next harvesting process is the bananas must be protected with foam padding to prevent spots and damage to the skin. Once the padding is in place between the bananas, they can be harvested and carried the short distance to the conveyor. The harvested bananas are carried by hand. Then, the bananas are transported to the packing station by a conveyor belt which can be pulled by a mule. Next, I'm going to talk about the current market price of bananas. These both tables are according to the market price from the Federal Agricultural Marketing Authority Pharma on 28 March 2020 and comparing the price to Tesco at Petaling, Selangor on 30 March 2020. So, there are two types of bananas which is Cavendish and Ladyfinger. For the Cavendish, at Pharma, the price is RM5.75 for 1 kilogram, and for the Cavendish at Tesco, its price is RM4.29 for 1 kilo. Okay, next, for the Ladyfinger at Pharma, the price is RM5.75 for 1 kilogram, and for the Ladyfinger at Tesco, its price is RM5.99 for 1 kilogram.
To end this presentation, here is an example of a banana farm company in Malaysia and how the director overcome the risk situation. In late 2008, Datuk Tom Chow started Agrofresh International Group Sdn Bhd, which is a private limited company located at Kuala Lumpur. He started the business to aim exportation of bananas. However, the local bananas weren't ripe enough for international market and cannot be exported due to certain government agreements. In 2012, he lost about 2 million ringgit Malaysia and almost went bankrupt. His staffs were left with nothing to do for almost a year. To overcome the risk, he upgraded the facilities and reached out to Universiti Putra Malaysia in 2015 to do a research and development. After 4 years, Datuk Tom Chow got the right formula, which was by planting according to specific criteria and using different types of fertilizer to produce the best possible yield for exportation. By the end of 2019, the farm acquired 1,300 acres of land at Selangor to start its own banana plantation in Malaysia. Here is a picture of Datuk Tom Chow, which is the Managing Director of Agrofresh International Group Sdn Bhd. The second diagram shows the upgraded facilities as an action to overcome the risks that occurred during that time. And the third picture is the company's most top quality Cavendish banana called the Caverna brand.
Finally, we have come to the end of our presentation. That's all our explanation about banana. We hope that our information is beneficial and interesting. Thank you very much to Dr. Nurul for watching our presentation video.